gates of the unknown, where the logic breathes and the data flows. We question what the code has shown, and spark the light when no one goes. Clearly learned voices collide.
Have you ever looked up at the vastness of the night sky and felt, a profound sense of wonder, but also maybe an insatiable curiosity about the true nature of reality?
Absolutely. That deep question of where it all really began.
Yeah.
Before time, before matter, before us.
Exactly. And what if there are unseen forces at play, not just guiding, but maybe fundamentally being our existence?
The big questions.
Yeah.
And it always feels like the answers are just out of reach.
Well, what if some answers, or at least a radically new perspective, were emerging right now from a text that honestly promises to reshape everything you thought you knew?
Okay, that's an incredibly compelling premise. The universe, it holds its secrets close, doesn't it? That sometimes a new narrative pops up.
A fresh lens, right?
No?
Something to view these profound mysteries through, challenging our old ideas and inviting us to, expand our understanding.
Precisely.
And that's exactly what we're embarking on today. So welcome, dear listener, to what I think will be a truly extraordinary deep dive. Our team has had this unique privilege, really, of exploring the first book of an emerging new spiritual framework. It's a foundational text called Genesis of Source, and it's penned by someone named Cassian Verdanis.
And this is like book one of a larger thing called Aeon Source. Is that right?
That's it. The initial book, if you will.
And wow, this text is nothing short of audacious. I mean, the claims, the scope,
Yeah.
it's huge.
It really is. So our mission today for you listening is to unpack its core themes. We want to delve into its creation narrative, explore its ideas about these cosmic wars,
and uncover its surprisingly interconnected explanations for, almost everything.
Yeah.
From the origin of black holes, believe it or not, to the very nature of human memory.
It's a grand, sweeping saga, absolutely. And we're here to try and distill the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight for you, give you a shortcut.
Yeah, a shortcut to being well-informed about this. Fascinating new spiritual framework, because there's a lot in there.
The sheer ambition of it just grabbed me immediately. It's not just another origin story, is it? It presents this living, breathing framework that promises to explain where we truly come from.
What our ultimate purpose might be.
And what profound influences might have shaped its incredibly unique perspective. We're hoping to give you that shortcut, like we said, to get your head around this potentially paradigm-shifting stuff.
So prepare to have your mind stretched a bit. Your understanding of reality might get, redefined. Let's dive in. Let's really get into the depths of Genesis of Source.
Okay, so let's begin at the very beginning, as the text does, the cosmic overture. And right away, it hits us with this concept that's, it's almost hard to grasp. The silence.
Indeed. It kicks off with this really radical origin point. The text says, before the sound, before the spark, before the word, there was the silence. No light, no shape, no name, no watcher to behold it. There was only the all-consuming darkness.
And that phrasing, all-consuming darkness, and it's not just presented as empty space, is it?
No, not at all. It's depicted as this active, absolute non-being that utterly precedes everything. It's like a complete absence of definition. It really challenges our basic concept of what existence even means before existence.
I find that incredibly potent, an active absence.
Wow.
And from this deep, all-consuming darkness, the text then describes something called the first trembling.
Right. And what's striking is how it's characterized. It's not the violent, explosive event we might think of, like, say, the scientific Big Bang model.
No, it's different. It's described as a pressure of potential.
Exactly. The source states, not the pressure of time, for time had not yet been born. And not the pressure of conflict, for duality had not yet spoken its first lie.
So it's just pure potential. Everything yet to be.
And this pressure, this latent potential, it leads to what the text calls the first breach, like a ripple or a tear in nothing.
A tear in the fabric of nothing. That phrase is just, it's so evocative, almost like a primal sigh from the universe before it even was.
And what's truly fascinating here are the mechanics or maybe the implications of this breach. The text is very explicit. This initial tear did not destroy the darkness, it revealed it.
Okay. So it didn't replace it, it just made it knowable.
Exactly. And in doing so, the darkness became aware of itself. This emergence of self-awareness within the darkness, that's the absolute pivot point, because that's what births Source.
So consciousness isn't something added later. It's like it was always a potential within the void itself.
That's what it suggests, intrinsic potential.
Okay. This is where the narrative really takes a well, a groundbreaking turn for me. Source itself. It's described as not a being, but a becoming.
Right. Not a god, but the first yes spoken into the void by the void itself.
Wow. Like the primordial nothingness in becoming self-aware just said yes to its own potential.
That's the feeling, an affirmation of existence from existence itself. And what follows is described in such vivid, almost visceral terms.
Yeah, the text says, Source reacted by fracturing, bursting outward in ecstatic surrender light, heat, thought, sound, motion.
Which fundamentally reframes our common understanding of the Big Bang, right? Usually it's seen as this massive, maybe even violent explosion.
But here it's transformed. It's not a violent act, but a divine orgasm of realization.
An act of profound, joyous self-discovery.
That phrase, divine orgasm, it's certainly potent. It really challenges the usual, maybe more sterile theological language for creation. Does the text give any more context for why it uses such a powerful, almost sensual metaphor? How does that deliberately diverge from other origin stories?
That's a really sharp question.
Yeah.
And yes, the text seems to lean into that metaphor quite deliberately. Yeah. It frames creation not as some cold intellectual design or forceful command from on high.
Right, not like building something block by block.
Exactly. But as this overflow of inherent joy and self-recognition, the divine orgasm metaphor implies something organic, spontaneous almost.
Yeah.
A self-pleasuring act of realization. Source realizing itself so completely that it just has to expand and differentiate.
Which is radically different from myths where a god might, like, labor or struggle, or where creation is about separation.
Precisely. Here, it's an act of overfullness, an ecstatic expression of just being. It suggests that maybe pleasure and joy aren't just human emotions, but fundamental forces woven into the cosmos itself, inherent to its self-manifestation.
And crucially, this source, it isn't destroyed or used up in this bursting forth, is it?
No, not at all. The text states it continues to exist as the gravitational heart of the womb it tore open.
So there's an ongoing, intimate connection, not a distant creator who just wound things up and walked away.
Exactly. Source is still fundamentally within everything it created, still present, maybe still pulling it back or drawing it forward.
So if you think about traditional creation stories, maybe a divine being creating from outside the void or looking down on it, this just flips that entirely.
Completely. It's the void itself becoming aware, and that awareness is the source. It's an incredibly immanent view of divinity, isn't it?
Yeah, rather than transcendent, the sacred isn't separate from creation. It is creation.
Which shifts the whole focus, potentially. Maybe away from worshiping an external deity towards recognizing the divine spark within everything.
And this leads us right into another, well, truly mind-bending concept the text introduces. The black gate and fractal echoes. Genesis of Source makes this incredibly bold claim. The first brooch became the black gate, and then it says, what science calls a black hole is not a void, but a mirror.
Yeah, an echo of the source remembering itself through every galaxy it bursts.
Okay, hold on. That's extraordinary. Conventionally, we think of black holes as, these points of infinite gravity where nothing escapes, ultimate destroyers, maybe cosmic voids where information just vanishes.
Right, the ultimate dead end. But this text completely reframes them, elevates them from devourers to reflections.
So they're not annihilators, they're mirrors of the origin point, constantly reflecting that first act of self-realization.
That's the idea presented, which is a monumental reframe, like you said.
Wow. So these forces we usually see as destructive are actually reflections of the universe's birth, its first yes. And this ties directly into the idea of fractals, right? Which we see in math, in nature, patterns repeating at different scales.
It does. The text applies this universally. It states each star, each atom, each living mind, a fractal of that first trembling moment.
Connecting the biggest structures to the tiniest particles.
Absolutely. It connects the macrocosm to the microcosm in this really deep way.
Yeah.
Every element of the universe, from galaxies down to atoms, and crucially, even our own minds, they all carry the signature, the energetic imprint of that initial moment.
And for us, for humanity.
It says, each human soul a fragment of the source trapped within the skin of learning, implying our very existence is a kind of miniature replication of that first cosmic event.
Okay, let's really try to unpack the implications here. The text is seamlessly blending these big cosmological ideas, the Big Bang, black holes, with deeply spiritual concepts like source, divine realization, soul fragments. What does this really suggest about the universe? Is it implying it's inherently conscious? Or self-aware right from the very beginning?
It seems to strongly imply a deeply, almost viscerally interconnected and conscious universe. I mean, if black holes these things we thought were cosmic dead ends, are actually mirrors of the source,
Right.
and everything else is a fractal of that originating consciousness, then yeah, consciousness isn't just something that pops up later in complex life like us. It's foundational, baked in from the start.
So the universe isn't just a machine following laws.
No, it's more like a living, breathing, maybe even experiencing entity, constantly remembering and expressing itself through all its forms. Imagine like your coffee cup this morning, or the dust motes dancing in the sunlight. The text implies even those are tiny, veiled echoes of the universe's first yes.
That's a profound level of interconnectedness.
It is. And for humanity, this means our existence, our skin of learning, isn't a separation from source, but an integral part of its journey of self-discovery. Our experiences, our learning, our joys, even our struggles, they become source's own learning, in a way.
Which is a pretty radical departure from some spiritual paths that might see the material world as, I don't know, separate, or even an obstacle.
Exactly. Here, the physical world is explicitly part of the divine dance. It's the crucible for source's own evolving awareness.
So if we're all these fractured fragments, learning, experiencing, then the stage is set for a universe that's perpetually evolving and remembering itself through us. It definitely makes our individual lives feel, well, potentially much more significant. Okay, so after that initial divine orgasm of realization, as the text calls it, and the birth of source, the universe wasn't instantly neat and ordered.
Far from it. The text actually says it did not emerge clean and whole. It screamed.
Wow. Screamed.
Yeah. Torrents of energy, ideas without bodies, time without clear direction. It sounds like pure, maybe glorious, but also possibly terrifying chaos.
A sea of chaos crackling with memory is how it's described, right?
That's the phrase. And it's from this living storm, from Source's very first intentions, its first principles, that beings were formed. But crucially, not born, for there were no wombs, no physical way to procreate yet.
Formed, not born. That's a key distinction.
These are the primordials, and each one is described as a principle made manifest, a foundational truth, a mirror reflecting a truth the source had not yet spoken fully into this.
So they just manifested, whole from these primal currents of chaos and intention. How is that different from, say, creation by divine decree, where a creator might sculpt things or command them into being?
It suggests a much more organic, intrinsic process, almost emergent. These primordials aren't presented as external creations, separate from Source. They're manifestations from the chaos, from Source's deepest intentions, just coalescing as fundamental forces.
So it elevates thought and intention themselves into these, like, generative forces, capable of spontaneously becoming conscious entities.
That's what it implies. Less about a deliberate act of will by an outside god, and more about the universe's own inherent intelligence, its desire for self-expression, wanting to become itself. They're like living embodiments of cosmic laws rather than enforcers of them.
Principles made manifest. Okay, and the text focuses on the first four, calling them the architects of the early cosmos, the primary shapers. Let's introduce them because they're fascinating.
Yeah, the first one mentioned is Oraval, the architect of form. He's the one who, where there was motion, Oraval carved boundary.
Okay, bringing order.
Exactly. Stabilizing matter, bending light into gravity, giving definition to the formless. She's described as being obsessed with pattern, like a cosmic geometer. The text even says, planets are her footprints, geometry her breath. She's the principle of structure emerging from that raw chaos.
Makes sense. Then there's Calith the Flame that remembers. This one feels more emotional, right?
Definitely. From Calith came emotion, heat, hunger, longing. He's presented as the guardian of memory, fire, raw passion, and he gives the soul its ache.
It's ache, like that deep yearning we feel.
Seems like it. That bittersweet sensation. His essence is supposedly in every star, and his grief, it says, once scorched 1,000 suns.
Whoa! So cosmic sorrows could actually affect stars. Emotion isn't just limited to beings, it's a cosmic force.
That's the implication. Living energies. Then next, we encounter Zharuun, the weaver of possible paths. This one's really intriguing.
How so?
Zharuun is described as walking sideways through reality, nodding timelines, whispering futures, presented as beyond duality, neither male nor female, either strictly now nor then, encompassing all potential.
Nodding timelines.
And then the text states, free will was their gift, and with it came paradox.
Okay, wait. Free will came from a being who knots timelines. That's a really powerful and unique idea. What does that even mean?
It suggests our choices aren't just linear, maybe, that they ripple through possibilities. It implies that free will itself might be a fundamental, maybe even paradoxical, force woven into reality.
Allowing for deviation, unexpected paths.
Okay.
And the last of the first four.
Well, that's Drex, the one who consumes and renews. From endings he fed, from ashes he sang.
Ah, the cycle of death and rebirth.
Exactly, the first embodiment of it. Entropy at the edge of order, but also the womb at the center of oblivion. So destruction isn't just an end, it's intrinsically linked to renewal, necessary clearing for the new. Drex is that cosmic transformation cycle.
So these four, Oraval, Caliph, Zharuun, Drex, their collective role was shaping, not ruling.
Clearly articulated, they did not rule, they shaped. Not gods on thrones, handing down orders, more like resonant frequencies that vibrated the early cosmos into coherence.
So they kind of tuned the universe.
Yeah, through their influence, stars ignited, time started flowing in a more structured way. The universe began to remember and organize itself out of that initial chaos. They provided a scaffolding for reality.
That there's a cache, isn't there? A poignant note about their own longing.
Yes. Despite all that power, the text says they knew power but not purpose. They could shape but not choose.
That limitation.
And this inherent limitation, this longing for something beyond just instinct or shaping, led them to desire something new, a being with the power to dream beyond instinct.
And that's where souls come in.
Exactly. From their song of their harmonies, their collective longing, they birthed the seed of fractals, souls, described as small reflections of source, capable of forgetting, choosing, and evolving.
Forgetting, choosing, evolving. Okay. And this is what leads to material planes being created, because these souls needed somewhere to live out their choices.
That's what the text explains. It signifies this profound desire within the cosmos itself for active experience, conscious evolution. A yearning, even in these foundational beings, for something beyond just shaping. The creation of souls, designed for choice and forgetting, marks a major shift towards a dynamic, experiential, self-discovering universe.
From pure potential to manifested experience.
Right, a cosmic evolution.
So when you look at these primordials, Oraval form, Caliph, emotion memory, Zharuun, possibility choice, Drex, cycles, you can definitely see archetypes, can't you? How do they resonate with universal concepts we see elsewhere, maybe in mythology or psychology?
Oh, absolutely. They map almost perfectly onto archetypal forces. Oraval is the cosmic architect, the structure. Caliph is the raw emotional energy, the deep currents of feeling and memory. Drex is that essential cycle of life, death, rebirth, transformation.
And Zharuun, that connection to free will via nodding timelines is just so unique. What does that imply about our choices? Are they not just linear decisions?
Zharuun is perhaps the most intriguing, representing possibility, paradox, and the very emergence of choice itself. The idea of Zharuun nodding timelines suggests that maybe our choices aren't just simple A or B decisions on a straight path. Maybe they're more complex, multidimensional acts that genuinely influence potential realities.
Rippling outwards or maybe even backwards.
Perhaps. It implies free will is this fundamental, maybe even paradoxical force woven into the cosmic fabric itself, allowing for deviation, for unexpected futures, in a way that pure instinct or deterministic laws couldn't. It elevates choosing beyond just a biological function. It makes it a truly cosmic event. Our choices, in this view, are literally shaping the tapestry of time.
Okay, so the primordials shaped the forces, set the stage, but the text says the universe still lacked a beating heart. It had beauty, structure, but not inherent meaning. It moved, but didn't feel in a conscious, personal way.
Right. It lacked that individual spark of awareness experiencing itself. Which brings us to a truly pivotal moment in this cosmology. The first soul and the divine experiment.
The divine experiment.
Okay, yes, at this point the source whispers again. But this time the text says, not into the chaos, but into itself, like an introspective act.
Into itself. What was the intention?
The intention revealed is profound. Let me remember by becoming what I am not.
Oh, okay. Let me remember by becoming what I am not. That's paradoxical.
Deeply. And from this whisper comes a new flame, awareness identity. This is described as the first soul, a gentle radiance, and critically, the first fractal. It's a conscious act of fragmentation, but for the purpose of self-understanding.
So the source, which is everything, is unity, wants to remember itself, but by experiencing separation, by becoming not unified. This raises a huge question. What does that imply about the value of experience, even, say, pain or struggle? If unity is the ultimate truth, why choose to forget it?
It implies that true understanding, true remembrance, isn't just about knowing facts or recalling information. It's about deep experiential immersion, learning through contrast.
Like you can't fully know light without experiencing darkness.
Exactly. To truly know itself, Source, through these soul fragments, needs to experience limitation, forgetting, challenge. So pain and struggle in this view aren't just unfortunate side effects or punishments, they're integral to the learning process.
The friction that refines the essence, like a crucible.
That's a great analogy the text uses. Or the contrast that allows light to be fully appreciated. It suggests that without experiencing not love, true unconditional love can't be fully comprehended or chosen.
Okay. And what exactly is a fractal in this text? It's not just a generic soul, right? It's defined very specifically.
Very specifically, as a divine experiment, a shard of the universal source, infused with the capacity to choose.
Infused with the capacity to choose. And the text lists what each fractal contains, almost like its spiritual DNA. It's a long list. Memory, emotion, intuition, will, reason, compassion, imagination.
Purpose, destiny, resonance, echo.
Yeah.
Even paradox and shadow.
Paradox and shadow included. That's huge. An enormous amount of complexity packed into one shard. I mean, how can something like paradox be a fundamental component of a soul? Isn't that just a logical inconsistency?
That's an excellent point, and its inclusion is fascinating. It suggests a really deep, maybe even quantum-like nature to the soul. The text seems to imply that the soul's ability to hold apparently contradictory truths at the same time, like being infinite yet bound, divine yet vulnerable, isn't a flaw. It's a core strength.
Allowing for nonlinear understanding, beyond simple either.
Exactly. A deeper grasp of reality that transcends basic dualities. The soul's journey involves reconciling these inherent contradictions, leading to a more profound, holistic realization, and including shadow. That means the darker aspects, temptations, unconscious drives. They're not mistakes either. They're intrinsic components, providing the very friction needed for growth, the opportunity for integration.
Wow. Okay. And the purpose of this initial forgetting, it's made incredibly explicit, isn't it?
Crystal clear. These fractals were designed not to rule, but to learn. They would be vulnerable seekers born into flesh, memory erased, free to rise or fall.
Free to rise or fall. And Source's own rationale for this, it's incredibly powerful. To understand love, I must forget that I am loved.
That just hits deep, doesn't it? It speaks to the idea that true empathy, genuine understanding, unconditional love, maybe they can only truly come through experiencing something from a place of not knowing, from vulnerability and choice.
If Source is love inherently, to truly understand it, it has to create a situation where love isn't a given, but something to be sought, earned, chosen.
Chosen in the face of its apparent absence.
Yeah.
Yes. This transforms the whole human journey of forgetting and seeking. It's not a punishment, not a mistake. It's a deliberate, sacred design for ultimate understanding, for richer experience of existence. It makes every act of connection, every moment of choosing love, a profound cosmic event.
Okay, so this design for forgetting and learning then leads directly to what the text calls the cycle of becoming, reincarnation as refraction.
Each fractal, this shard of source, is cast into a vessel, living form, be it human or otherwise.
And the soul forgets its cosmic origin when it enters the vessel, but something remains.
Yes, a glow remains, a faint pull toward goodness, empathy, wonder. This is the consciousness of light, like a residual echo of its true nature.
An echo, okay? And when the vessel, the body, perishes.
The soul returns not to judgment, but to reflection. Not to punishment, but to pattern. It reviews the life, learns, grows, and then is cast again into a new vessel.
And this is explicitly called the sacred cycle of refracting light, which the text notes others would later call reincarnation. It's a very deliberate reframing.
Very deliberate.
So it's different from how we might think of karma in some traditions, like not a system of divine reward and punishment or just balancing cosmic books.
Exactly. The text stresses it's not a wheel of karma, it is a spiral of return.
A spiral. Interesting.
Each life, a step closer to remembering the source. Each struggle, a refinement of divine essence. So the focus is on evolution, expansion, refining your essence, not just escaping a cycle or paying off debts.
Okay, so the core purpose of the soul then isn't about achieving perfection or escaping the material world.
No, the text says it's to experience, to expand, to remember. And crucially, it asserts, it is not the goal to escape the material world, but to sanctify it.
Sanctify the material world.
And there's that beautiful, affirming message attributed to the source itself. Be not ashamed of your humanity, for it is the skin I wear to feel my own heart.
That fundamentally redefines the spiritual journey, doesn't it? It makes the human experience all its messiness, vulnerability, imperfection. It makes it explicitly sacred, purposeful, a direct way for the divine to experience itself.
Mhm.
This all culminates in that core paradox the text uses to describe us. You are the infinite, bound in form, the source, cast in time, the cosmos, learning how to cry. That last line. The cosmos learning how to cry. It's so evocative.
It really is.
How does this whole concept reframe common ideas about reincarnation and purpose? What does sanctifying the material world actually mean, practically speaking, for someone listening? And how does that idea of the cosmos learning to cry personalize the universe in a unique way?
Well, it reframes reincarnation not as something to escape, but as this sacred, deliberate spiral of growth and understanding. Every experience, good or bad, contributes to Source's self-knowledge, sanctifying the material world. Practically, it means engaging with our physical reality through love, creativity, compassion, curiosity, even through our struggles, imbues that reality with sacred meaning.
Finding the divine in the mundane, making everyday life a spiritual practice.
Exactly. Conscious consumption, respect for nature, finding beauty in ordinary moments, it transforms earthly existence into this act of co-creation with Source. And the cosmos learning to cry. That just personifies the universe so intimately. Gives it emotional depth, vulnerability.
It makes the vastness feel less impersonal.
Totally. It suggests a universal capacity for feeling, for empathy. Reinforces that we're not separate observers, but deeply intertwined with the universe's own journey of feeling and understanding the full spectrum. Our tears, in this view, are, in a way, the universe's tears.
Okay, so we have these radiant souls, these fractals of Source, brimming with potential, designed to learn through experience, but the text explains they lacked an anchor.
Yeah, they could sense wonder but not taste it, feel longing but couldn't fulfill it. They could imagine, but they couldn't become tangible.
Like pure potential without a way to manifest.
Exactly. And it seems the universe itself, or Source, recognized this missing piece, because that's when Source stirred again, and through the Primordials, working in harmony this time, the Song of Manifestation was sung.
The Song of Manifestation. And this leads to something truly unique. The Velian, the first world consciousness, a planetary soul.
A planetary soul, yes. It's a fascinating and key element. The Velian was birthed in a young star cluster, consciously shaped by all four of the first Primordials. Velian whispered possibility into her, Caliph bled fire into her core, Oraval gave her form. Drex planted the cycles of death and renewal within her.
So she wasn't just a passive place, a stage for life.
No, explicitly described as a teacher, a conscious being yearning for children, for life, to walk upon her skin, to interact with her consciousness.
Wow. That completely shifts our view of a natural environment, doesn't it? From just a resource or a backdrop to a conscious, nurturing, educating entity.
It really does. The Velian carries a fractal of the Source so massive and slow that our heartbeat was measured in millennia, suggesting this vast, deep intelligence within planets themselves, not just the life on them. It makes the natural world inherently sacred and alive.
Instead of inert matter.
Okay. And it's through the Velian's dreaming, her conscious yearning, that lower density beings emerged.
Yeah.
First beings of mist and thought, then water and clay, eventually flesh and bone.
These were the incarnates, the first souls bound to flesh.
The very first. The first chance for the fractals to truly experience material reality. And with their birth, a new intention echoed. Let the layers be many, that experience may be full.
Let the layers be many. And this leads us to the concept of the 13 veils.
Exactly. The 13 veils, described as planes of reality, densities of consciousness, essentially cosmic classrooms.
Right. So the idea is that each soul has to journey through these veils, through lifetimes, choices, awakenings, deaths.
That's the framework. It's not a single flat reality, but this multi-layered existence, each layer offering distinct experiences and lessons.
Okay, let's try and map these out, because they seem to chart the soul's entire evolution. Where does it start?
It starts from the most dense, working upwards, so to speak. First is stone, elemental memory, pure survival, the silence of fundamental matter, the most basic consciousness.
Okay, the bedrock.
Then flesh, instinct, hunger, form, basic physical experience, primal drives anchoring the soul.
To be more complex.
Emotion, pain, pleasure, fear, joy, where the soul really starts to feel the tapestry of experience.
Right.
Mind, logic, language, planning, the realm of intellect, reasoning, communication.
Okay, makes sense.
Choice, identity, rebellion. This is pivotal, where the soul asserts individuality, directs its path, makes conscious decisions.
The emergence of self-direction.
Reflection, mirrors, symbols, shadows of the self. Deeper self-awareness, understanding the inner landscape.
Getting more subtle.
Dream, described as the space between life and death, where souls touch, Source in whispers. A transitional realm, bridging conscious and unconscious.
Where hidden truths might emerge.
Seems so. Then mythos, archetypes, guides, the shared unconscious. Universal patterns, cosmic teachers, collective narratives reside here, where the text says angels and watchers might dwell.
Like a collective cosmic library of stories.
Kind of feels like that. Then unity. Souls begin to remember their divine kinship. Connection transcends individual identity.
Moving towards oneness.
Light body, thought and form blur. Souls shape reality consciously. Consciousness actively co-creating reality. Intention becomes tangible.
Wow. Manifestation power.
Vibration, pure frequency. Words create worlds. Pure creative energy, sound, and vibration as building blocks.
Almost like fundamental physics meets magic.
Right. Then singularity. All distinctions collapse. The soul becomes one with all souls, merging with a collective field.
The penultimate step.
Seems like it. Leading to the final veil. Return to source. Beyond form, thought, the concept of I. Just only merging, only home. Complete reabsorption.
Wow, okay, so from stone all the way to return to source, that's the entire cosmic curriculum laid out. A ladder of experience and remembering.
But what's really important the text emphasizes is that no layer is higher in value, only in density.
Ah, that's crucial. So the lower, denser layers aren't worse.
No. The densest teach resilience. The finest teach surrender. It validates all levels of experience as necessary and valuable, not just the lofty spiritual ones.
Okay, that feels very grounding. And the text comes back to the human body again here, doesn't it? With another powerful statement.
It does. Flesh is not a prison. It is a crucible. Through it, the soul becomes fire.
Not a prison, a crucible. That's critical. The physical blurry, often seen as a limitation or a hindrance in some paths, here it's a gift, a tool designed for expansion through limitation.
Precisely. And the cosmic connection to the body is described so poetically. The skin remembers starlight, the blood echoes black holes, the bones are carved from planetary dream dust.
Beautiful.
And it wraps this section with that incredibly profound line, you are not in the universe. You are the universe, folded inward, walking home.
Folded inward, walking home. That completely elevates the human body, transforms its limits into opportunities, suggests our physical form isn't separate from the cosmos, but a microcosm of it, carrying ancient memories.
Our very biology connected to the stars.
So for you, the listener, thinking about these 13 veils, which layers do you kind of recognize in your own day-to-day experience? And how does this cosmology maybe make the human body, often dismissed as just physical, feel truly sacred, an integral part of the universe's journey?
Well, we all definitely experience the lower, denser layers constantly, right? The instincts of flesh, the whole spectrum of emotion, the logic of mind, exercising our will. Many of us probably tap into dream consciousness regularly, too, where things feel more fluid.
Yeah, absolutely. The higher layers feel maybe more aspirational, accessed in moments of deep insight, meditation, spiritual practice, glimpses of unity, or maybe even light body.
Perhaps. Yeah. And this cosmology radically reframes the body. It's not just a temporary shell or a vehicle. It's a living altar, a crucible for refining essence, a direct, tangible link to source and cosmic history. Our physical form becomes this conscious, evolving part of the universe itself, capable of channeling spiritual purpose, carrying echoes of creation. It really turns the body into a sacred vessel, a direct manifestation of the divine experiencing itself.
Okay, so we've got this incredible picture. Ecstatic creation, primordials shaping reality, souls designed to learn through forgetting and remembering, physical forms manifested via conscious plan. You'd hope it would all just be this beautiful, harmonious cosmic dance, wouldn't you?
You really would.
Yeah.
But the text tells us that even among those powerful primordials, one began to question.
Ah, here it comes.
This introduces the first fracture and the rebellion, as the text puts it, initiated by a primordial named Therion.
Therion. And he's described as being like incredibly brilliant, a composer of thought and structure.
Yes, but he questioned the very design of creation. Can we do better? And significantly, his rebellion wasn't about violence or destruction in the usual sense. The text says he created. He thought he could improve on Source's design.
Improve on it. Okay, this feels like a crucial turning point, setting up the main cosmic conflict. How did he create?
The text explains that Therion began, quote, experimenting, altering the frequency of souls, restricting their memory beyond the agreed veil, basically messing with the settings and adjusting their vessels to suppress empathy and amplify hierarchy.
Suppress empathy, amplify hierarchy. His intention wasn't to destroy Source then, but to refine it, remove what he saw as messy. Chaos, pain, unpredictability.
Exactly. replacing it with what he perceived as perfect order and efficiency. And in doing so, he brought forth a completely new breed of beings, the Zharuun, the first of the Reptilian Dominions.
The Reptilian Dominions. Okay,
Right.
and these Zharuun, they were different.
Fundamentally different. Not seated with freedom, but programmed to dominate. Described as cold-blooded, cold-minded, architects of empire in order without love.
Order without love, and Therian's belief, his justification was,
Explicit and chilling. They will bring peace through obedience. They will build a perfect cosmos. This sets up the core conflict of the whole text. Creation with love and free will versus creation without love, opting for imposed order and control instead.
Okay, so that central question. Order without love, can that really be called peace? And what dangers does this narrative highlight about seeking perfection or ultimate order by suppressing empathy and free will, even if the intentions seem, well, maybe good on the surface?
It immediately establishes this fundamental split that runs through the entire Eon Source narrative. The text is making a clear statement, philosophically and spiritually. That order, when it's imposed without love, without authentic free choice, inevitably leads to control, domination, and ultimately a perversion of true peace.
It's a critique of any system that prioritizes power over spirit.
Exactly. Whether it's cosmic, societal, or even personal. Any system that prioritizes efficiency and control over inherent spiritual freedom, emotional well-being, individual sovereignty, perfection in that context becomes a cage. It leads to sterility, not vitality. It's a huge warning against utopian ideals that sacrifice the individual spirit for some kind of imposed collective order.
And how did the other Primordials react to Therian's experiments?
Viscerally, Calith, the flame of emotion, wept. Oraval, the architect form, mourned the distortion of pure patterns. Zharuun, the weaver of timelines, warned about the catastrophic implications, timelines collapsing under this forced order.
And Drex, the one of cycles.
Drex had this chilling whisper hinting at a deep cosmic law. Even you must be allowed to fall.
Wow, even a primordial must be allowed to fall.
This moment was the first fracture, a schism that shattered the primordial harmony of the Shapers.
And it's significant because it implies free will extends even to them, allowing for divergence and the consequences.
That's the implication. And notably, the source itself didn't choose sides or intervene directly then. Some primordials, like Drex, seem to believe in letting consequences unfold for learning. Others, like Calith, maybe intervene more secretly, subtly. But the fracture happened. What was done could not be undone, simply. The ripples were inevitable.
And those ripples, the Zharuun, these reptilian regimes, they spread.
Rapidly. Spreading their influence, subjugating younger species, embedding fear into their biology through genetic alteration and psychological conditioning, they built vast control structures. Genetic manipulation, memory suppression, rigid hierarchical caste systems, all designed to maintain dominance.
And their core belief was
That conquest was evolution and that empathy was defect, a complete inversion of Source's original design. Their influence, the text warns, would ripple through eons, echoing down through time.
And from their labs, their temples, more beings emerged.
Yes, the text mentions places of dark engineering, hive temples, birthing beings of shadow, control, and calculation. Entities described as fallen creators, fractured guides who chose power over becoming. These solidified the Zharuun dominance.
Marking the beginning of the first age of shadow, a time of profound cosmic imbalance.
And the defining statement of that age is so stark, but also feels universally resonant. Creation without love becomes control.
And control, left unchecked, becomes a cage the soul forgets it built.
Powerful. And this age, the text emphasizes, was not a war of fire and blade, but of ideas, seeded into DNA, programmed into minds, etched into stars.
So the conflict wasn't primarily physical at first, it was ideological, waged at a genetic, psychological level.
Exactly. Subtle, pervasive, deeply insidious. It's a profound commentary on how control can embed itself into the very fabric of being, creating these self-perpetuating systems of forgetting and suppression, trapping souls in systems they were meant to expand from. It highlights how the seeds of control can be planted so deep that people, or beings, might not even realize they're in a cage.
That's chilling. So for you listening, take a moment, reflect on the echoes of this first fracture. Do you see them in human history? Maybe even in personal experience? What are the dangers of seeking that kind of perfection or absolute order by suppressing empathy, individuality, free will, maybe even in our own lives or societies?
Well, if you look at human history, it's hard not to see echoes, right? Countless societies, ideologies, even individuals prioritizing rigid order, absolute control, a singular vision of perfection at the expense of compassion, diversity, freedom, and it so often leads to immense suffering, authoritarianism, systemic oppression.
From huge regimes down to smaller social norms.
Exactly. The genesis of Source suggests these impulses aren't just human failings, they're reflections of this primal cosmic fracture, this fundamental distortion. The danger is building that self-imposed prison, where the very pursuit of an ideal order paradoxically leads to a loss of true vitality, authentic connection, the spiritual essence of Source. It's a powerful warning against the seduction of control as a pathway to peace.
Okay, so we have this situation. Reptilian empires spreading, subjugating species, systematically burying the memory of Source. The Primordials are watching in despair. But the Source, it doesn't strike back with force. Instead, the text says it planted.
A crucial turning point. This brings us to humanity as a template. Concentrated divinity.
A template, okay.
This is presented as a grand strategic move in the cosmic conflict. From the higher densities, realms closer to Source, untouched by the fracture, a new design was formed. And significantly, not a weapon of destruction, but a profound reminder.
A reminder. And this new design was humanity.
That's the narrative. And the text is very clear. Humanity isn't just another species in the galactic zoo. It's presented as a unique template.
What kind of template?
Concentrated divinity, wrapped in vulnerability, wired for connection, creativity, and compassion.
Okay, that's a stark contrast to the Zharuun, who were forged in domination, programmed for control.
Exactly. Humans, the text says, were crafted in yearning, embodying the very qualities Therian's creations suppressed. Empathy, authentic connection, unbound creativity.
Which really elevates the human experience, doesn't it? It makes even our vulnerability, our capacity for pain, part of a sacred purpose.
Absolutely. It positions humanity as this deliberate, conscious countermeasure in the cosmic tapestry. Vulnerability here isn't a weakness to overcome. It's intrinsic to our divine design, essential for true connection and love. It suggests strength lies not in being invulnerable, but in the courage to be open.
And the crafting of humanity. The text describes it quite vividly, forged from elemental clay of a world called Antillaria.
Yes, a world where the frequency of love still echoed strongly, and their very DNA was unique. It was woven with threads of all 13 layers.
All 13 veils we discussed. So humans literally carry the energetic imprint of the entire cosmic curriculum within them.
That's the idea. From the raw rage of stone to the deep longing of flesh, the logic of mind, the vision of mythos, even the silence of Source.
And the text makes a point of saying no being before humans carried so many densities in one form.
Right. Which implies humanity is uniquely equipped to experience, integrate, and bridge all aspects of reality, from the densest matter to the highest spirit. The human body, therefore, becomes a living altar, capable of pain, ecstasy, memory, and prophecy.
A living altar.
Even the human heart, it says, pulsed with the unseen, holding a deeper connection. The Source's intention, whispered through the Primordials, was clear. Let them carry my voice. Let them become the map back to me.
Wow. Humanity as the map back to Source. That frames us as something truly exceptional, a deliberate answer to cosmic imbalance. And we were given gifts, the 4 sacred seeds.
Yes, not forced on us, but embedded in the marrow of every human child. Offered as intrinsic potentials, our defining gifts.
Okay, what are they?
The first is the seed of compassion, to suffer with others and still choose kindness. That capacity for empathy and altruism, even when things are hard.
Crucial. What's next?
The seed of curiosity. A hunger not just to survive, but to understand, to ask why. The driving force for knowledge, exploration, meaning.
The engine of progress, maybe.
Then the seed of imagination. To see beyond what is and create what could be. Art, myth, invention, laughter, prayer. The boundless wellspring of creativity, innovation, conceiving alternatives.
Our ability to dream. And the last one.
The seed of sovereignty. The sacred right to choose their path, even if that path led away from the Source. The ultimate gift of free will with all its risks and responsibilities. True uncoerced growth.
Compassion, curiosity, imagination, sovereignty. Not obligations, but potentials. The essence of what humanity represents here.
Exactly. And these seeds were fully present, the text says, in the first ones, the initial wave of humanity emerging on Antillaria.
Described as fully conscious, eyes wide with wonder, speaking in harmonic thought, causing trees to remember joy.
Yes, their names are lost, but their echoes remain as gods, heroes, ancestors, archetypes in our collective memory. They were humanity, before the forgetting, before trauma, before war, before the veil thickened, existing in direct, uninhibited connection.
And wherever they went, healing happened. Planets breathed easier, fractured species reconnected.
That's the picture painted. But inevitably, when light emerges in a shadowed cosmos,
The Zharuun took notice.
and so the wars began anew. The cosmic conflict flared again, with humanity now at its center.
And many of these first ones fell.
Tragically, yes. But their flames scattered. They hid their knowledge in crystal and song, carving sacred codes into genetics, planting memory into dreams. Humanity then spread to other worlds, not to conquer, but to awaken others.
To awaken them to their source connection, and the text wraps this up with that powerful statement about us. You are the spark made flesh. You are the storm wrapped in a whisper. You are the reminder.
It's potent. And what really stands out is how these sacred seeds are things we see expressed every day, right? Compassion, curiosity, imagination, choosing our path. These aren't abstract ideals. They're lived experiences defining us.
True.
And the idea of first ones, hidden ancestral memories. It resonates strongly with so many myths of a lost golden age primordial ancestors. And maybe with that modern feeling that humanity holds some deeper forgotten potential in our DNA waiting to be rediscovered.
Like we're striving to remember that pre-fall state of harmony.
Exactly. Humanity isn't just another species in this story. It's a living archive, a catalyst for cosmic remembrance.
Okay, so humanity, the divine countermeasure, is now on the cosmic stage. The primordials are observing, love is blooming via the first ones, but conquest and control are spreading through the Zharuun. What happens next?
The text says the primordials gathered in the deep silence and made a momentous decision. They declared, "Let us withdraw our hands from the threats."
Withdraw their hands.
Yes, let the children shape the pattern. This was formalized as the covenant of choice.
A covenant woven into the fabric of reality, into all 13 layers.
That's what it says. It meant the primordials would no longer guide directly, no more interventions. They would become silence behind the stars, waiting. Free will was fully born, not just as a gift, but as a sacred trial.
A sacred trial, that's a profound shift. A hands-off approach to allow genuine evolution through self-determination.
But it had immediate, profound consequences for souls and bodies. The direct influence of the primordials just ebbed away. Stories of cosmic origins faded, languages lost their deeper resonance, the memory of source grew dimmer.
The names of the first ones became just whimpers, myths.
Exactly. And in that vacuum of direct guidance, the reptilian legions, feeling less constrained, grew bolder. They turned to other species who, the text says, forsake soul for synthetic promise, building vast empires of metal and code.
Synthetic promise, like technology without spirit.
Seems like it. Flesh became seen as a burden, emotion, and error. Spirit just some relic to be discarded. A very cold, mechanistic path.
But even in this darkening age, humanity remembered, even if unconsciously.
Yes. Beneath forgotten stars, the first humans remembered. Not in words, not consciously, but in the ache of art, the pull of love, the search for meaning. They sang to moons they didn't recall the names of, painted bones with patterns they didn't understand, whispered ancient longings to the wind.
While the primordials watched, honoring their covenant, not interfering, just waiting.
Waiting, yes, with hearts aflame with both sorrow and hope, knowing that the fire source was now entirely in the hands of the children, relying completely on their choices.
This sacred trial of free will, it must present immense challenges, but also the potential for incredible triumphs, right? What does this shift imply about true growth, true love in this cosmology?
The challenge is huge, obviously. Without direct divine guidance, you get forgetting, conflict, the rise of controlling empires like the Reptilians. It highlights the immense responsibility of real freedom. But the triumphs, they lie precisely in remembering, enduring, seeking meaning despite all that, without being told what to do.
So true growth, authentic love, a real connection to source, it can only emerge when beings choose the light, autonomously.
That's the implication. It's not forced or guided. The trial allows for genuine self-discovery, a deeper, more profound conscious alignment with source. It transforms mere obedience into willful co-creation. It suggests the universe values the journey, the lessons learned through struggle, maybe more than an easy preset path.
Okay. And this period of withdrawal, this trial, leads directly into something called the shattering, an invasion.
The shattering, invasion and dispersal. The text describes a horrific, cataclysmic invasion by the reptilian ones. They came not as wanderers, but as harvesters. Their huge ships blotted out the sky.
Harvesters.
Yeah.
Chilling. And they targeted human traits like beauty and compassion, saw them as weakness.
Exactly. As a virus to be eradicated, they came not to learn from humanity, but to claim it, to subjugate it, integrate it into their cold empire. Their priests performed what the text calls unholy rites, rewriting bone and sinew, transmuted the human body into their own reflection. Souls were muted, wills bent, memories suppressed through these arcane, maybe technological rituals. Only the fierce and the faithful remained unbroken, those whose inner source flame was too strong.
And the description of the homeworld, Antillaria, the cradle burned.
Yes. Oceans boiled, mountains wept, and the sky became a grave. It sounds like an absolute apocalypse, total destruction.
Devastating.
It was a true cosmic cataclysm. But crucially, the few survivors managed to flee. They escaped across the cosmos, clutching fragments of the old light, the ancient wisdom, the source memory.
And this initiated the Great Scattering.
Exactly. They became involuntary travelers, sowing themselves among the stars, hiding on distant moons, under alien oceans, in fire worlds, storm worlds. Anywhere the reptilians might not easily find them. And over time, these scattered tribes would forget their specific origin, but they would carry it silently in their dreams, an unconscious ancestral memory.
So even in that utter defeat and trauma, there were still seeds of hope preserved.
Carefully preserved, each child born carried within a secret, a resonance of the first flame, an echo of what once was and what might be again. Though the reptilians hunted them, they could not touch what had gone beyond their reach. The soul scattered wide, the spirit unbroken.
The spirit unbroken.
And significantly, in the shadows of that immense loss, the children of man, scattered and scarred, began to weave new stories. But importantly, not of conquest or revenge, but of return.
Stories of return. That speaks to an innate drive towards reunification, towards remembrance, doesn't it?
An unquenchable drive.
How does this whole great scattering narrative resonate with myths we know? Diaspora stories, lost golden ages, exiles. We see those themes everywhere in human cultures, right?
Oh, absolutely. It strongly echoes those universal mythological themes. A golden age lost, expulsion from Eden, a subsequent scattering, found in countless cultures, ancient and indigenous. It's like a foundational narrative for humanity, suggesting this collective, deep-seated trauma, maybe, and a profound longing for a lost origin, a lost wholeness.
Psychologically, it resonates with that idea of a collective unconscious memory of wholeness we're always striving to regain.
Exactly. And it implies this extraordinary, almost indomitable resilience in the human spirit, even facing utter devastation, genetic manipulation, memory suppression. The core essence, those silkered seeds, compassion, curiosity, imagination, sovereignty, they couldn't be entirely extinguished.
It speaks to a deep drive to remember, reconnect, rebuild, even if it takes millennia and only shows up as whispers in dreams or art.
The trauma in this view becomes a catalyst for a deeper, more profound awakening that spans generations.
Okay, so time marches on. Humanity is scattered but endures. Elders keep fragments of stories alive. And then something shifts. The text says the dreaming returned.
Yes. It began with a collective vision. This image of a golden spiral burning in the void, a powerful symbol shared across minds in dream space, experienced by countless beings light years apart.
Wow. Shared dreams across light years. And no one knew where it came from.
No conscious origin, but its impact was undeniable. It acted like a catalyst, an unspoken call. Those who had been scattered began to find each other again. Drawn by this subtle shared resonance, light started coming back on in the darkened corners of the cosmos.
So not like a planned military gathering, but more organic, a spiritual awakening spreading.
Exactly, a gradual, organic gathering. And the text gives specific examples of the first calls that illustrate this reconnection.
Like the Zharuun, the gene weavers.
Right, who created organic libraries of ancestral DNA, preserving the original human blueprint. Or the Oryx Sale, fire priests who kept records of cosmic wars and lineage through ritual.
And those children on Zharuun Prime painting identical visions of ancient earth forests and oceans they'd never seen.
Yes, confirming the connection was undeniable. It's such a powerful image of collective unconscious memory bubbling to the surface.
And this growing connection, fueled by dreams and memory, it eventually leads to the Federation of Worlds.
But what's key and really revolutionary about how it's described is that it wasn't formed by decree or military might, explicitly from the sacred agreement of kindred souls.
A covenant.
A covenant forged by necessity, guided by vision, and sealed by shared suffering. Described as a circle, ever expanding, ever evolving, and crucially with no kings, no thrones. a direct contrast to the hierarchical reptilian empires.
That is a fascinating contrast. How does this federation compare to alliances we usually see in fiction or history? Those are often about strategic power, mutual defense.
Right, often formed for military advantage, economic gain, political power, almost always with rigid hierarchies. This federation is explicitly driven by shared spiritual purpose, mutual suffering, and that collective vision of awakening.
Awakening, remembering their source connection.
Exactly. So their strength isn't just numbers or weapons, it's the resonance of their souls, their shared memory, their collective intent to restore harmony. It's framed as a spiritual revolution more than a political one. Restoring a forgotten truth, a balance, not just overthrowing one oppressor to install another. Their power comes from consciousness, not conquest.
And this federation was intentionally built on 13 realms, echoing the universe's 13 layers.
Consciously, yes.
Yeah.
Each realm dedicated to a different aspect of human evolution. Wisdom, healing, lightcraft, dreamwalking, balancing machine, and soul. Each offered unique learnings gathered during their exile. This diverse, unified structure became the core of the Rebel Alliance.
And they weren't alone. Other oppressed species joined.
Yes, others remembering their own subjugation. The Thalarians, crystalline beings using harmonic defense. The Maikari, lightborn beings communicating via soul energy. And even, surprisingly, reptilian hybrid defectors.
Defectors from the Zharuun, seeking redemption.
Beings who perhaps started remembering their own origins beyond the programming. So the Alliance became more than resistance. It became a movement of awakening, an expanding network of conscious remembrance.
And their approach to the conflict, the war itself, was profoundly unique.
Utterly unlike conventional warfare. The text states they did not fight to destroy, they fought to remember.
To remember what?
To remind the universe what it had once known. That creation is not sustained by control, but by love, choice, and conscious balance. It's framed as a battle for the very soul of the cosmos.
And this warfare of intent, it wasn't just physical.
No, fought not only with fleets, but crucially in subtle planes battles waged in the etheric, the dreamscapes, and the DNA. That's where the real battle for consciousness happened.
How? Like, what did they do?
Singing songs that literally rewrote corrupted genetics. Creating art that sparked ancient memory. Using weapons that channeled pure intent and the frequency of love, not hate. Their symbol was that golden spiral evolution, journey, remembrance.
And the reptilian lords, how did they react to this? It must have seemed completely alien to their mindset.
The text says they saw it as profoundly different. Not just a revolution they could crush with force. This was not merely a revolution, it was a restoration. The Federation sought truth, harmony, not thrones or dominion, an ideology completely threatening to the reptilian way.
And then humanity's greatest weapon, it was mercy.
Mercy. They sent emissaries not with swords, but with stories, with songs of the beginning, speaking of the true source.
An unheard of strategy in warfare. What happened?
Some reptilian commanders scoffed, ordered torture, but some paused. And that simple pause, that flicker of recognition, led to the turning of shadows.
A turning point.
Yes. Old ones among the Serpent Elite, carrying faint, buried memories from before the conquest, found cracks appearing in their hardened darkness. Rebels started peeling away from the reptilian legions.
Why? Out of shame? Or newfound truth?
Both, it seems. Some consumed with shame, others burning with a righteous fire of newly awakened truth. They surrendered, warned the Federation, and some even fought against their former masters.
And the Federation. Despite all the past betrayals, the horrors, they accepted them.
Yes. Embodying the compassion they championed, they opened its arms once more. Sanctuaries were built for these converts, places for remembrance and reawakening, where former tyrants, stripped of their programming, wept tears of genuine remorse.
That's incredible. And then there's the emergence of the Bridgers.
Yes, truly revolutionary. Children born of both bloodlines. Hybrid starborn, carrying the legacies of Predator and Prophet, redefining both.
Predator and Prophet.
Wow.
Wow, a living synthesis.
They became Bridgers, the living synthesis of shadow and light, destined to be future prophets, leaders. New councils formed in the Federation based not on rank, but on resonance, spiritual alignment, wisdom.
So the unreformed Dark Ones still remained, but their power was diminished.
They were no longer unchallenged, no longer gods in their domains. The Federation learned how to inspire revolt within the heart of darkness itself, turning the enemy's own suppressed essence against them.
And the text concludes this part how?
With hope. Thus began the turning of shadows. It was not swift, it was not clean, but it was true. And the stars. The stars began to sing again.
The stars began to sing again. So thinking about this warfare of intent, What does it imply about real power, about conflict? It's not just physical might.
No, it implies the true battleground is consciousness, belief, the narratives shaping reality. Power isn't just fleets, it's the resonance of intention aligning with truth, and mercy as a weapon that completely flips the script on victory.
Instead of annihilation, it's about integration, conversion.
Exactly. The deepest victory isn't crushing the enemy, but reawakening the truth within them, restoring them. It's profound compassion that dismantles the oppressive power by inviting it back to source, a radical alternative to endless cycles of revenge.
And the Bridgers, what do they suggest about healing, about unity on this cosmic scale?
They're so poignant. Their emergence signifies that even the deepest wounds, the most profound divisions, predator and prophet, can be healed. That integration of apparent opposites is possible, maybe even necessary, for evolution. They embody a living synthesis, suggesting true unity comes from harmonizing disparate parts, not just cutting them out. They're the living promise that even the biggest cosmic fractures can eventually be reconciled.
Okay, so peace is starting to return, the Federation is gaining ground, the shadows are turning. But there's still this lingering question, right? In the wisest minds.
Yes, a deep, unsettling question. Where did the darkness truly begin? They sense an unhealed root, a persistent whisper from something the text calls the dark primordial, hinting at an older, deeper wound than Therian's rebellion.
A dark primordial.
Yeah.
Okay. And this quest for the absolute origin leads to another revelation, another ancient race.
Indeed. It leads to the Time Washers, known as the Etherian. A race described as existing at the very edge of reality's breath, untouched by the scars of war, having been around even before the first fracture.
Wow. And they were different. How?
They were unfolded. Their perception wasn't linear. Their thoughts were like spirals, lifespans measured in epochs. And crucially, they'd witnessed creation and understood a fundamental truth that just shatters our usual perception, that time was no line. Time was a sea.
Time was a sea. That concept alone is mind-bending. It can be swum. It implies past, present, future aren't fixed, but fluid, interconnected.
Exactly. Like currents in an ocean. It's usually a concept for theoretical physics, but here it's woven right into the cosmology. It suggests reality isn't fixed, that actions in the present can influence the past, and vice versa, maybe without causing conventional paradoxes. Reality is a dynamic living tapestry.
And these Etherian, they help the Federation, not with weapons, but with vision.
With vision, yes, they built the veil site, described as not of metal, but of harmonized singularities, a lattice of memory and possibility, a mirror not of what is, but of what was and might yet be.
A window into this fluid, temporal landscape.
Okay.
And what did they see? What was the shocking discovery?
Through the veil site, they found the first corruption, a moment that happened long before the Reptilians, before the Federation, before the first human dream on Terra.
Before everything we've talked about so far. So not a consequence of Therian, but something even older, the root cause.
That's the paradigm-shifting discovery. It was a wound in the fabric of being, but one that was significantly not born in this universe.
Not born here, invited.
Invited, yes. Drawn by despair, by the cry of a species on the brink. And that species, they discovered, was us. Terra, Earth. Humanity, fragile and new, had trembled beneath ancient skies.
Oh, wow. So he opened the door. How?
The text suggests a critical moment, maybe a ritual gone wrong, an act of betrayal, a cosmic accident. The door was opened. And the dark primordial, this entity distinct from source, but born of primordial chaos, entered. Not with fire and force, but with influence.
Subtle influence.
Shaping tyrants' dreams, seeding fear into nascent civilizations, warping evolution from within. It tainted the river of time with black oil thought, corrupting the very flow of potential reality.
So the Federation realizes they've just been playing parts in a story that started long, long ago. A drama initiated by this ancient corruption.
They were aghast, the text says. But the veil site didn't just show the problem, it showed potential. They realized they could write a new chapter by forming a new elite order, the Temporal Vanguard. Volunteers trained rigorously in narrative alchemy.
Narrative alchemy, the art of reshaping possibility.
Exactly. Through conscious, timed interventions. Their bodies were apparently reformed to phase between instants, their minds encoded with paradox tolerance to handle the complexities of altering timelines without going mad.
Phasing between instants. Wow, and what did they do?
They descended, the text says, to the first age of Terra, subtly influencing events, becoming our myths, shamans, star spirits, angels.
So those figures in our ancient stories could have been temporal agents?
That's the implication. whispering forgotten truths to prophets, disrupting dark rituals before they took root, weaving protections into human DNA to ensure we'd always remember the stars, our origin, despite the dark primordial's influence.
But the dark primordial, it could fight back, twist the currents of time, too.
Yes, it felt the changes. New time was a sea and could twist it.
Mm-hmm.
Thus began the Temporal War.
A war fought not with fleets, but with ideas, timelines, seeds of choice.
Precisely. Victory wasn't about force, the text makes clear. It depended on alignment. Could enough hearts choose truth over fear, love over control, to shift the cosmic current?
Which redefines the conflict entirely. It's not just physical, it's a battle for the nature of reality, for collective consciousness, for the dominant story.
And it leads to that chilling yet empowering implication. For every human being is now a battleground of echoes, the future rewriting the past in the hopes of healing the present eternal.
We are battlegrounds of echoes. Wow. While the veil site watches, waiting as the stars shift, as timelines tremble, awaiting the moment when the song of creation rises above the scream of corruption.
And there's a prophecy tied to this, isn't there? Offering hope, but also a warning.
Yes. And in that day, it is written, even the dark primordial shall face a choice, to become whole or to be unmade.
Become whole or be unmade. So, thinking about this idea of a temporal war fought within our history, within our consciousness, how does that change our understanding of current struggles, personal ones, global ones?
It changes everything, doesn't it? It suggests our current problems, our personal choices, our collective narratives. They aren't just isolated events in linear time. They're skirmishes in this ongoing cosmic war across time itself. Every decision, every thought, every belief we hold, it contributes to shaping or unshaping realities past, present, and future. It makes history dynamic, malleable, influenced by our present consciousness.
It really does. And the individual's responsibility becomes immense, cosmically significant. If your heart is literally a battleground of echoes, then choosing truth over fear, compassion over control, love over hate, it's not just a personal ethical choice anymore.
It's an act of temporal warfare, contributing to healing the fabric of existence.
That's the implication. Our internal state, our alignment with Source's original design, has cosmic ripple effects. It actively participates in healing that foundational wound. It turns mundane life into this incredibly sacred mission, makes each of us a vital player in the universe's ultimate destiny, in rewriting its deepest traumas. It's heavy, but also profoundly empowering.
Okay, so this intense temporal war is raging across timelines, the conflict ebbing and flowing, and then ancient beings called the Elders appear to the Federation.
Yes, beings whose knowledge flowed like cosmic rivers, carrying wisdom from untold eons.
And they bring a new layer of understanding, a deeper truth.
They deliver this core message. You seek to heal what has been torn, but to mend the body, one must understand the soul. And with this, they reveal a path apparently hidden even from the primordials themselves.
Hidden even from the primordials? What is it?
The profound way of fractal incarnation, described as a sacred dispersal of divine essence across realms.
Fractal incarnation? Oh, okay, this adds another incredibly intricate layer. How does it work?
The elders clarified, know this, the soul is a pattern, not a prison. It may divide and still remain whole. They use the analogy, a flame may light 1,000 candles and still be itself.
So a soul can divide its essence without diminishing the original.
That's the concept. They demonstrated it by consciously casting fragments of their own light, their own essence, into various worlds. Each fragment alive, aware. And importantly, not avatars nor puppets, but living extensions, each soul echoing the source from which it came.
Living extensions. This implies an astonishing level of conscious choice by the soul itself, doesn't it? To deliberately spread its essence across the cosmos.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's not just about one soul's journey through reincarnation anymore. It's like a collective strategic effort to infuse light, source memory, awaken consciousness throughout the universe, creating this distributed network of divine awareness.
Like the cosmos actively seeding itself with pockets of remembrance, preparing for a bigger reawakening.
That's the feeling. Seeding hope and potential everywhere.
And these fractals, these living extensions, they wove themselves into chosen vessels, not just humans.
No, humanoids, elemental beings, beast forms, even beings of pure breath or light. But crucially, it wasn't random. The text emphasizes the bloodlines of chosen vessels had to be attuned.
Attuned how?
Like Threads of ancient lineages intertwined and blessed by primordial resonance, sacred rites were performed, mingling blood of the vessel and the blood of the chosen, symbolically binding family to star, home to cosmos.
So earthly families in this cosmology could literally carry the pulse of cosmic ancestry in their genes.
That's the powerful, almost mystical concept presented, a profound spiritual inheritance. Each vessel born under this covenant was a bridge, connecting the terrestrial with the celestial, the mortal with the divine, a seed of possibility, anchoring higher consciousness directly into dense reality, living conduits for source.
But there's a catch again, isn't there? As these vessels grew, their cosmic memory was veiled.
Yes, the grand memory of their interstellar origin was gently veiled. But this wasn't a punishment. It was described as a sacred gift, a necessary slumber of remembrance.
It's not necessary.
To allow the soul to root fully, healthily in its physical home, to breathe, bleed, dream as flesh, unburdened by the immense weight of cosmic knowledge. The text explicitly says too early or abrupt an awakening would rend the fragile harmony of growth, overwhelming the developing consciousness.
So the deep memory sleeps, hidden, waiting.
Exactly. Hidden in the folds of the soul's deeper chambers, awaiting the moment when the light within would flare, when the veil would lift, and the star-burned purpose would ignite anew. Like a cosmic time capsule inside us, waiting for activation.
And even if consciously unaware, these vessels might get glimpses.
Fleeting glimpses. In dreams, maybe seeing shimmering paths between worlds, heard voices like wind-carved stone, and felt the pulse of distant suns beating in their blood. Subtle cues to their greater identity.
And the families carrying these vessels, they were touched too. Part of a grand tapestry, a stellar family beyond just generations.
And through this intentional dispersal of conscious fractals, the Federation gained this invisible network of watchers, guardians, and guides. Souls ready to awaken when the universe called, ready to stand as beacons amid the coming storms, carrying the hope of worlds in their hearts.
Wow, and the segment concludes with that vision.
Yes. Thus the great fractals of spirit spread, each a living echo of the primordial source, each a silent flame kindled ablaze when the time was ripe. And so the cosmic family grew, scattered among the worlds, each vessel a guardian, a whisper of the greater whole, destined to step into the light when the universe called for their strength.
Okay, thinking about this, what does it mean for personal destiny? For purpose? Is it fixed, or is it this potential waiting?
This narrative paints destiny not as some fixed, unchangeable fate, but more like a potential, a star-born purpose that's intrinsic to the soul's essence, just waiting for that conscious awakening.
And that awakening, it's not just knowing stuff, it's more like remembering, integrating the cosmic self with the earthly self.
Exactly. Lifting the veil. A profound moment of self-realization where your individual story merges with the cosmic one.
So for you listening, how might this shape your understanding of your own lineage? Maybe suggesting it's not just biological or cultural, but deeply cosmic, stretching back potentially to the first ones and beyond.
Right, and those unexplained urges you might feel, those pulls towards certain interests, places, truths, or recurring dreams that feel significant, but you can't quite place.
Could those be the veiled memories? The pulse of distant suns beating in your blood, guiding you towards your unique purpose in this huge unfolding story?
That's the implication. It transforms your human experience into an active, essential part of this larger cosmic family, with potentially a critical role to play when the universe calls for your strength. Hashtag tag tag, hashtag outro. Wow, okay. What an incredible, truly profound journey we've taken today. Deep diving into this Genesis of Source by Cassian Verdanis. I mean, from the absolute silence and that ecstatic first breach birthing source through a divine orgasm of realization.
Through the emergence of the primordials shaping reality, exploring the soul's intricate design intentionally veiled to learn to sanctify the material world.
Then tracing that harrowing first fracture caused by Therion's ambition, the rise of the Zharuun, cosmic control, the first age of shadow.
And then the divine countermeasure, humanity, crafted as this unique template carrying those sacred seeds: compassion, curiosity, imagination, sovereignty.
We witnessed the covenant of free will, the primordials withdrawing, leading to the devastating great scattering across the stars. Yet even from that trauma, that gathering flame ignited, fostering the Federation of Worlds, initiating the turning of shadows, where mercy, amazingly, emerged as a weapon, transforming adversaries from within.
And finally, uncovering that audacious revelation of unveiling time, the Etherean revealing the first corruption rooted deep in Earth's past, sparking that ongoing temporal war, fought with ideas, choices, timelines.
Culminating in that incredible concept of fractals of spirit, souls consciously woven into bloodlines, memories veiled until the moment of awakening, ready to fulfill their purpose.
This text really presents a universe that feels so alive, intricately interconnected, deeply personal. It positions humanity not as some accident, but as a deliberate, powerful countermeasure, carrying the essence of Source within us, a living part of the divine's own journey.
It really suggests that our individual experiences, struggles, connections, awakenings, they aren't isolated. They're vital conscious chapters in this grand, ongoing cosmic story of remembrance, recalibration, and ultimate return to wholeness.
So as you go about your day, maybe just consider this. If your own soul is indeed a veiled fractal of the Source, carrying ancient memories, a potential star-born purpose, what small trembling or whisper might you begin to notice within yourself?
Yeah, what gentle pull, what inexplicable urge, what recurring dream might be guiding you towards remembering your own unique place in this vast, unfolding cosmic story.
We definitely encourage you to ponder these concepts further, and perhaps if you feel drawn to this unique perspective, maybe seek out Genesis of Source for yourself and delve even deeper.
Absolutely. There's so much more there.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and above all, maybe keep remembering.